So what I'm going to do is to record the APCM as well, and then people will be able to go onto the YouTube channel and have a look if indeed they want to. So a little bit down on maybe the numbers we would have if we were in the church, and I guess that just shows how important it is that we do get back into a community of worship again as soon as we can. Speaking of services, it's great to see that on a Sunday now that we're open, we've been full each Sunday, which is fantastic, and we've had some great visiting vicars come and lead our service and do our talk. So the next couple of weeks, this week and next week, there's no service in the church. It's a family service next Sunday, so family's only for that one. But then a couple of weeks after that, we'll be back to a normal Sunday service, communion service. So please book in for that. So just by way of sort of introduction, a little bit of an overview of the year, if that's okay. I hope you've all got a copy of the agenda access, just to run through very briefly. Just a quick introduction from me. I've got a few words and thank yous to share. Then we get into the sort of meat of the meeting, which is the election of the church wardens. Then we go into the actual APCM meeting itself. So any apologies for absence, Ali will kindly be taking notes, and I'll ask if anyone sent in any apologies for that. Then we'll sign off last year's minutes, if there's any matters that have arisen for those. I haven't had anything sent in, so I'm assuming not. Then we'll we'll accept this year's APCM reports. Again, we're not going to read through them. Hopefully you've all had a chance to do that. I haven't had any questions sent through, so I'm assuming it's all very clear, which is great. And then just a very quick update on the interregnum for people, so we're all on the same page, we know what's going on. Then we've got a few elections to do, and then any other business. I've only got one item of any other business, which is about gift aid. Again, I didn't get anything through. So hopefully there's nothing else to be covered there. So I think it will be a relatively short meeting. Okay, fine. So by way of introduction then, here's just a few thoughts from myself. As you know, I'm one of the 3 church wardens, so together with Elaine and supported by Barbara, and with the PCC, we've sort of been looking after things over the last forever, it seems. But my thanks has to go first and foremost to Elaine and Barbara for their support. And it's my privilege as one of the church wardens to chair the meeting today on behalf of all of the church wardens. I think it's true to say that since our last APCM, things have been pretty unusual. But I think we've fared quite well. And in the process of getting through the last 12 months, I think we've discovered some new relationships, some new skills, and some new ways of communicating that are now embedded in our DNA as a church. And I think you'll agree that the annual report describes a church connected, engaged, and vibrant, despite the virtual world that we've been living in. And this hasn't been by luck, but it's been due to the prayerfulness and the hard work of a number of people, both seen and unseen. And I'd like to spend a bit of time just mentioning some of those people now. But I want to start with an apology, because every time you do one of these sort of recognising individual people, there's always somebody that you miss off. So I really want to apologise if I don't mention you, and yet you've been making a massive contribution. I think one of the things that really struck me, especially in the early days over the past year, was how people connected to support each other as we went into lockdown and isolation. And I've seen some of that continuing, even now, when that's almost become our way of living. And we often claim to be a friendly and supportive church, but I really think our approach over the last few months has really demonstrated that, and really demonstrated the love of God at work, both in our church family, but also in our broader community. So thank you all for that. In terms of sort of a few key people that I'd like to mention, I've got to start with Karen, our administrator. I've had the chance to spend some time working in the office with Karen, or probably more getting in a way rather than helping her. But anyway, I've been in the office a few times, and I've seen firsthand the amount of work that goes on just keeping things running. Everything from recruiting and booking our visitors, our vicars, setting up our rotas, managing the hall bookings, and really importantly, ensuring that we're compliant with all the COVID rules and regulations. So big thank you to Karen. Next, I've got to thank the leadership team, Elaine, Barbara, Janet, for your support, your direction, and really importantly, your inside knowledge of so much that goes on in the church and the different ministries. And without your support, without your insight, and without at times your challenging questions, the last few months would have been all the more difficult. So thank you all very much for that. Next, the PCC. Without your support and your input, and especially with the preparation of the parish profile, we wouldn't be where we are now. A special thanks to Hannah Milliard, whose connections enabled us to produce a really, really high quality parish profile. And those of you that have seen it, it's a really good marketing document, dare I use that expression. So thank you for that. Special recognition also to Steve Oakley, Julia Lehman and Dave Sennick, whose time as church warden and PCC members is now over. I have to say Steve's attention to detail made the transition to the new church wardens really straightforward. So thank you very much for that. You've got some time off now. Maybe next APCM, there'll be some vacancies coming up again, and you might want to put your hat in the ring yet again. But thank you all for what you all have done so far. And another thank you to Julia for all your hard work on the website. The website is one of our windows to the world. Without a doubt, all of the applicants for our post went to our website and looked at us and Googled us. I had a few more hits on LinkedIn. I suspect that was people looking me up, not for jobs, but just to see who the church warden is, I guess. So thank you for that, Julia. That's been really, really helpful. And the other big window to the world for our church is the grounds and the church building. So a special thanks goes to the gardening team under Robert, who've really kept the grounds looking tidy and inviting. And every Sunday when I leave the church after we've tidied up, there's always the same couple, maybe mother and daughter, sitting on the bench enjoying the sunshine, having a coffee. And a couple of times that I've been past, sort of out of hours, so to speak, I've also seen people on the benches. So that really is making our presence in the community. So thank you very much for that. Next, I've got to thank the music and the tech teams. Without Nathan and Ray Lee, we wouldn't be live streaming, we wouldn't be recording our services. And without Claire Walsh, we wouldn't be uploading them to YouTube. So I really want to thank the tech team very much indeed, and all the people that work the sound desk as well. Max has been great in getting certain things I didn't know. So thank you all for that. I think it's really enabled us to, really enabled us to stay connected with each other and reach out. And hopefully we've been connecting with some new people as well. Without the music team, led by Gilly, our worship would be all the poorer without a doubt, even if we can only hum along in church as we've been given permission to do by Bishop Joe. I have seen a few people when we have the Zoom, on the Zoom live stream, belting it out to the music. I hope you're in tune, otherwise there might be a few upset neighbours, but anyway, I'm sure that's all been good. Fortunately, people have been on mute, so we haven't heard it in the recordings. But looking forward again to being back in church and being able to sing and worship out loud. Next, I need to thank Chris Wright, who, as some of you know, will be moving from the area to move closer to family, and as a result will be stepping down from the electoral roll officer. As a long-standing member of the church and the PCC and electoral roll officer, Chris, just really want to thank you for all your work in the past and wish you the best for your move and for settling into your new home. Next, I'd like to thank the finance team, so ably led by Maxine, supported by Dave Ryland and Marion Underwood. Whilst we've still got a gap between our church giving and our running costs, having a budget that is tracked and managed, as well as ensuring we're getting all of our gift aid money back, all helps to keep us afloat. So thank you to the finance team. And then there's a bit of a catch-all here. My apologies, but I really want to thank all of those that lead and support various ministries. You're too numerous to mention by name, but it covers everything from our prayer and fellowship groups, pastoral care teams, St. Ebba's, Flowers, Barista, church and youth teams, the cafes, and much more that goes on in the church. So I really want to thank everybody for the time and the effort in keeping those things going, especially as so much has had to move into the virtual world. But it's great to see those forums still going. So thank you. And then finally, our thanks go to all of you, the church family. Without you as the family of All Saints, we wouldn't be the loving, caring and prayerful family that we are. And we wouldn't be the attractive church that we are, which is attracting some really, really strong candidates to be our next vicar. So thank you for being part of the All Saints church family. And as I say, apologies if I haven't mentioned you for a particular activity that you carry out for the church, but thank you very much indeed. And God bless. Okay. Ali, did you get all that down? Don't worry, I'll send you it. Brilliant. So let us move into our vestry meeting now, if we may. And the first item on that agenda is the election of the church wardens. So we have 2 church wardens and a deputy church warden. There were no nominations to take over. Surprise, disappointing, not sure. But nonetheless, the 3 of us are still standing. So firstly, if I could ask you all to vote for the re-election of Elaine Craggs as church warden. I need someone to propose that. Joan Martin's hand went up very quickly, and Clarice to second that. Thank you very much indeed. All in favour of the re-election of Elaine Craggs, please raise your hands. Just takes me a moment to scroll through the screens. Keep your hands up because it takes me a few minutes to get through. Great, thank you. Or anyone against? And anyone abstain? Great, Elaine, you're back in. See you Wednesday. Fantastic. I'll come to Barbara later as part of PCC. And the other church warden is myself, and I'm happy to be re-elected if someone would like to propose. Clive, thank you very much. And someone to second. Maxine, thank you. All in favour of me being sounds a bit strange. Me being a re-elected sounds a bit of a Boris Johnson moment, doesn't it? Let's flick through the screens. Gosh, there's a lot of you. Anyone against? I'll do against and abstain at the same time. Just I can clarify later. Peter's, oh, he's lifting his mug up. That's handy. I thought he was doing something else. He's putting his hand up. Okay, thank you very much. Great. So now into the APCM part of the meeting. Ali, did we get any apologies for absence? Let me find it on my screen. You'll have to come off mute as well, Ali, sorry. Any apology?
There's only 3 from Margaret Robert Bourne and Sheila Chadwick.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Duly noted. The second item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes of the 2020 APCM, which you should all have had a copy. Again, we'll do it through a vote system. All in favour of signing off the 2020 minutes. The screen jumped then. where are we? Scylla, thank you for proposing, and someone to second. Sheila, thank you. All in favour? Put your hands up. I like that. Oh. Okay, anyone against or abstaining? One abstain? Okay. Okay, thank you. There were no matters arising sent in about those, but as we've had an abstain, I'll happily open it up if anyone has got a matter arising. If you do put your hand up, I'll flick through the screens again. Okay, perfect. So no matters arising, Ellie, thank you. Next item is the acceptance of the annual report. So the report we've just issued, acceptance of the annual report and any questions. As I say, I didn't get any questions sent through, as far as I'm aware, in my email. So someone to propose accepting the annual report? Jill, thank you. Someone to second? Eric, thank you. Anyone object or abstain? Let's go through the screens. Great, thank you. No objections or abstainers. That's the word. Okay, next item on the agenda is an update on the interregnum. So this coming week is a big week for us. As I mentioned earlier, the parish profile looked really, really good, and we received 10 pretty good applications. Myself and Elaine were then on a call with the diocese, and we narrowed that down to 4 very, very strong applicants. On Tuesday evening, certain members of the church will be involved in a Zoom call with the 4 candidates. And the idea of that is to split into smaller breakout rooms, and it gives the candidate a chance to find out more about our church and the ministries. We've also got, which I think is great, we've got someone from Little Saints joining, and we've got someone from Daintree joining as well. So it's great to have some of the key elements in our community there as well. As I say, the objective is that the applicants get a chance to find out more about All Saints and about us. It's not our opportunity to have 16 people grilling them. That comes the next day. So that's Tuesday evening, and that will be done via Zoom, obviously for logistics, makes it a bit easier. And then on the Wednesday, the face-to-face interviews will take place. So Elaine and myself will be representing the church family, and we've got Bishop Joe, Archdeacon Martin Brentmore, a representative from the rural dean, because Rosemary's not available, a guy called Harry, who I haven't met him, but look forward to that. And we'll be interviewing the 4 applicants Wednesday in the church. When they're not being grilled by us, they'll have an opportunity to wander around the parish. Again, we've had some people nominated to take them around on that. And they'll also get a chance to look at the vicarage. The interviews run from about 9:30 through till about 3:30. I'm not sure that you would, but it'd be great if you don't all turn up at the church door to inspect them as they arrive or leave. Let's, you know, I won't say make the church an out of bounds area, but if you don't normally go there on a Wednesday at 11 o'clock, please don't turn up on this Wednesday at 11 o'clock, just to give the candidates some space. That'd be great. And then off the back of that, hopefully we'll find the right vicar for All Saints to take us forward. As I say, we think they're really strong candidates, and we do believe prayerfully that the right person is there. But who knows, maybe on the day we'll be proved wrong, in which case we'll have to go through the application process again. But hopefully won't come to that. Once we have selected a candidate, obviously they have an opportunity to say no. Maybe they've discovered on the Tuesday night that All Saints isn't the place for them after all. That could happen. Maybe they find out during the interview that it's not God's calling either. So it is possible that the person we offer it to says no. If that's the case, we may well have a second person that we think is suitable. And it could be offered to them. But if we don't, then we're back into the application process again. The third outcome could be that we offer it to a candidate and they accept it, and that's fantastic. But then, like all job changes, there is a time lag as that person closes out their current responsibilities and starts their new responsibilities. And obviously for people with children, if they're moving into the area, there's the whole school thing to think about, which means August, September start times. So I guess the point I'm trying to make there is we're making really good progress. We've got some really good candidates. Elaine and I have suddenly had ground rush because all of a sudden we're getting ready to do interviews, and that seemed so long in the distance a while ago. But there is still some miles to be done in order to find the right person and get them in place. So I would suggest that we probably won't see a new vicar if there is somebody in this group anywhere between July to September. So going the right way, light at the end of the tunnel, but there's still a bit of tunnel to get through. Happy to take any sort of short, not too detailed questions. We can't give you any information about the candidates, names, backgrounds, so please don't ask anything like that. But if it's a more general question, put your hand up, and happy to take it. I'll go through the screen, so leave your hand up again. Brilliant. Okay, no questions. Thank you. Where am I? So that was an update on the interregnum. So item 6 on the agenda now, please, is elections and appointments. And the first item is election of members to the PCC. Now, historically, we have always had a requirement for new PCC members. But one of the things that we looked at this year and discussed in the PCC, and it was in fact something that Sue had sort of flagged at the last APCM, is the number of PCC representatives in relationship to the number of people on the electoral roll. Now, the Church of England guidance says that for roughly 100 people on the electoral roll, you really only need 9 PCC members. And in fact, we were running at about 12, 13. So we had a discussion with PCC, and we decided that because our electoral roll is 104, it made sense for now, especially as we wait for a new vicar and all the rest that goes on with that, that we actually reduce our PCC numbers to 9. And by strange quirk of maths, by virtue of people leaving the PCC, we have landed on 9 members of the PCC. So that all came together quite nicely. So that is why we didn't reach out and ask for volunteers, voluntolds for the PCC for the next 12 months. That may change once we get a new vicar and we go into the future, but for now, we settled on a PCC of 9. So if I can run through, and as I understand it, we don't need to re-elect these people because they're already signed up for a set period of time. But the members of the PCC are Hannah Milliard, Maxine Ashburn, Ali Carmen, Barbara Clark, who also is acting as Deputy Warden, hence why we didn't need to vote on the Deputy Warden piece, Fiona O'Rourke, Peter Junicliffe, Robert Bourne, Scylla Gutcher, and Clarice Pell. And Robert, Scylla, and Clarice are also our Deanery Synod representatives. So that's PC. Now, if you don't know who your PCC member is, then that means we've dropped the ball a little bit, because everybody should, all of the PCC members should have contacted the people that they're representative for. But nonetheless, if you don't know who your PCC rep is, please contact the office and we'll let you know once Karen's back to work. The next item is the appointment of an electoral roll officer. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Chris Wright has done some great work, but has decided to move to a different part of the country. And so we did have a vacancy for an electoral roll officer. And I'm very pleased to say that Hilary Murphy, probably supported by a couple of people or egged on by a couple of people in the church family, volunteered to take that role on. Because it's a new appointment, we do need to vote on it. So the proposal is that Hilary Murphy is elected as the electoral roll officer. I need somebody to propose that. Clarice, thank you very much. And somebody to second that.
Chris Wright.
Looking for a hand. Someone to second, Hilary?
Chris Wright.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Brilliant. Congratulations, Hilary. And we'll get that handover instigated soonest. The next item on elections and appointments is the appointment of the independent examiner. That's the financial side of things. David Ryland has done that task for us fantastically for a number of years now, and is quite happy to continue with that. Again, we do just need to propose and second David as our independent examiner. So Clive has proposed David to be the independent examiner, and Peter has seconded. Oh, we didn't vote on Hilary, sorry, my mistake. Let's just close off on this one first. So all in favour of David Ryland continuing as the independent examiner, raise your hands. I'll go through the screens. That's great. Any objections or abstainers? Sorry, it takes so long to get through the scroll through. Thank you. So no objections or abstainers. And then, sorry, back to Hilary Murphy as the electoral roll officer. We've had a proposer and a seconder. All in favour, please raise your hand. Fantastic. Any objections or abstainers? Great, thank you. No objections or abstainers. The next item is the confirmation of ex officio members on the PCC. So basically, these are people that the PCC would like to have involved in the PCC meetings and hearing what's going on. The only thing that they're not able to do is to vote on PCC business, but effectively they join the meetings, they'll take responsibilities and clearly add value, a lot of value to the whole PCC and running of the church. And we've got two people that we would like to confirm. The first one is Janet Sherborne, and the second one is Karen Clark-Jones. And the reason that we really want to include Karen is just because her role as administrator, it's so much easier if she knows what's going on in the PCC. So if I could have someone to propose Janet staying on as an ex officio member of the PCC, Maxine, thank you. And a seconder, Pat. Thank you, Pat. All in favour of Janet ex officio, please raise your hands. Scroll through. Janet have a hand up? I can't see it on the screen. Thank you. Any objects or abstain? Fantastic, thank you. And now for Karen, proposer for Karen to be an ex officio member. Chris, thank you, Chris. And seconder, Chow, thank you. Oh, sorry, there was a shadow in the background. Sorry, a seconder. Peter, thank you. All in favour of Karen being ex officio on the PCC, please raise your hands. Great, and any objections or abstainer? Fantastic, thank you. No objections or abstains. Well, we're doing fantastically well here, aren't we? I'll need to drag it out for another 45 minutes. So the final item on our agenda then is, although I am going to look to Karen in a minute in case I missed anything, but the final item on the agenda that I've got is any other business. The only one that I had sent in was about gift aid, which I will share with you now as my notes. So back in 2018, which seems a lifetime ago, I know, but back in 2018, All Saints Church charity number was changed as we formally registered with the Charity Commission for England and Wales. We therefore need to ask all who previously signed a gift aid declaration to complete a new declaration with a new charity number. Now, basically, anyone that signed a gift aid declaration in the last, well, since 2018, won't have to do a new one because your form will have had the right charity number on it. However, if you signed your gift aid form before that, we're going to need to get a new one signed, please. Now, the way that we're going to do that is Marion and Maxine know who you are, and they will put a form through your door. If you could sign that one and get it back to the office, that would be fantastic. If you don't get one, it means that you're okay. They're very efficient. Their lists are up to date. So if you don't get one, don't panic. It means that the form is fine. If you do get one, then, you know, once you do get it signed and drop back to the office, that would be fantastic. So look out for that. That was the only item of AOB. Now, given the time, I'm happy to, this is always dangerous, I know, but I'll happily open it up if anyone has any burning AOB that doesn't relate to who the applicants are for the job of vicar at All Saints.
Janet's waving.
Thanks, Elaine. Janet, it's not a tricky question, is it?
No, it's not a tricky question. You mentioned about the people knowing who their PCC rep is. We've lost some PCC members. It'll take me a couple of PCC rep is, and you need one, give me a ring or email me and I'll do it until I've got the list out.
Thank you, Janet. Yeah, fantastic point.
No problem.
Thank you.
Barbara's got a question.
Sorry, who?
Barbara Clark.
Oh, Barbara, not a tricky one. Yeah, far away, Barbara.
I haven't got a question at all, but I just think we ought to have a vote of thanks for you as well, for all the work that you've done.
That's very kind. Thank you. I don't know what to say. Thank you. That's virtual applause is perfect. But as I said at the start, it's only been doable because of the support of so many different people. So thank you, Barbara, and thank you to others as well. Okay, if there's no final hand being raised, then I formally. Karen, I'm just looking at you. Have I missed anything? Okay. No, you shook your head.
No, not as far as I know. You've covered everything, Dave.
Brilliant. Okay, and we'll just make it up anyway, Karen, if we think of something later. All right. Fantastic. Thank you all very much indeed for joining. I'll call the APCM 2021 to a close. Thank you again for all your hard work in the church. We'll keep you posted on the outcome of the interviews this week, and look forward to seeing some of you in the church again in a couple of weeks' time. Put the word around if you know someone in your street with young kids or whatever. We've got the family service in a couple of weeks. Still places on that, Karen?
Yeah, we've still got some places for Sunday. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, but they need to book into the office by Friday.
Brilliant. So if we can support that, it'd be great, because I know a lot of time and effort is being put into putting the service together. So if you've got kids that live next door, please share it. Who knows what might happen at this time. So thank you all very much indeed. Enjoy the rest of your long weekend. I suppose people like me that don't work now, every week is a long weekend, but we find stuff to do. So God bless. Thank you all very much indeed, and look forward to seeing you all soon.
Good job.
Well done, Dave.
Well done, Dave. I think you
Well
make
done,
a good
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
picker, Dave.
Thanks, Peter.
Well done, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Well done, Dave. Excellent.